Hello friends, this is Ratnam from Government Degree College Bodhan, and we are in continuation of the our lesson gas state. In the previous session, we had a discussion on the gas state of what are ideal gases and what are the characteristics of ideal gases and what is the gas equation, ideal gas equation PV is what NRT. And after that, we discussed how to write PV versus V, what curves, and based on that, how real gases start deviating from ideal behavior. So, real gases are something different when compared to ideal gas, and we have derived van der Waals equation for real gases, and that was the first part we discussed. And also, we covered isotherms. What are isotherms, and how do we write isotherms? So this was the first session we have covered from gas state, and now we are covering the second part of the gas state. Now we have derived already van der Waals equations, and we know that the van der Waals constants are there, A and B. Now the derivation of critical constants from van der Waals constants. Last time we discussed that critical constants. Critical constants are nothing but critical pressure, and critical volume, and critical temperature. Critical phenomena is covered in the last session. So according to that, we want to just revise that. Critical temperature is the temperature above which a gas cannot be liquefied. The limiting temperature we can call above this particular temperature, a gas cannot be converted into liquid form. Called critical temperature. And 1 mole of the pressure which is required, the minimum pressure which is required to liquefy 1 mole of a gas when it is at critical temperature, and then that particular pressure is called critical pressure. And when 1 mole of gas it is present at critical temperature and critical pressure, whatever the volume occupied by 1 mole of gas at PC and TC is called critical volume BC. So critical constants means PC, VC, TC. So these are the critical constants. You see here PC, VC, and TC. Now we know that van der Waals equation already we know. So this is a P plus AN square by V square into V minus NB is equal to nRT. This is van der Waals equation. So in this van der Waals we have two important constants. One is A, which is a part of pressure correction. Another is B, which is a part of volume correction. So A, B are the van der Waals constants. Now we are deriving an equation or critical constants from van der Waals constants. So how to take an equation in terms of critical constants P, C, V, C, T, C, and in terms of A comma B, which are van der Waals constants. All right. So look at the equation, van der Waals equation. Already we know that for 1 mole we are removing n value because n is taken as 1 mole. Then the equation becomes P plus A by V square, V minus B is equal to RT. So this is the basically van der Waals equation for applicable for real gases when it is played for 1 mole. Then just we multiply that, then we get PV plus A by V minus PV minus AB by V square minus RT is equal to 0. Now let us multiply this total equation by V square by V. Just we are removing this V square, and we want to eliminate P. So we are dividing with P and we are multiplying with V square, so that we want to eliminate V square from this part. Look at this. V square is to be removed from here. P should be removed from this. That's the reason why we are taking V square in the form of multiplication and P in the division form. Then what happens? The first term becomes V cube. The second term becomes AV by P plus this term becomes PV square minus AV by P minus RTV square by P. What the equation is turning out to be. And if you further change this in terms of V cube minus RT by P plus B, V square plus A by P into V minus AB by P is equal to 0. Now look at the coefficients. V cube quotient is only 1. There is no quotient for V cube. whereas V square has a coefficient minus RT by P plus B, and V has a coefficient A by P, and a constant AB by P. Now this is a what an equation in terms of V with the degree 3. So a cubical equation of value. So the equation is a cubic equation in V. On solving this equation, we will get three solutions because V cube is there. Therefore, we must and should have three solutions. Three answers should be there. At the critical point, already we know that that curve we know in the isotherm curve, and what Thomson has shown that V must be in three forms. But if you go towards critical temperature, these three V values should become identical and should give only one V. So that Vc, there is the three values are same. So V becomes equal to Vc at critical point. That is at a critical point, V is equal to Vc. So you look at this. V is equal to Vc means V minus Vc is equal to 0. See this. V is equal to Vc at critical point. Okay. Then automatically at critical point, V becomes Vc. That means pressure and temperature also become Pc, Vc, Pc and Tc. So we take this V is equal to Vc at a critical point, that means V minus Vc is equal to 0. So just we cube it, V minus Vc whole cube is equal to 0. Then we apply A minus B whole cube formula. There we get V cube minus 3Vc V square plus 3Vc square V minus Vc cube is equal to 0. Okay, now we compare this equation with the previous equation. Now this last equation. So when we compare the coefficients, here also V cube V square V constant, here also V cube V square V constant. So whatever the constants here in terms of critical values, it is having VC, VC, VC. So now compare this. After comparing, then the terms becoming equal. See this, minus 3VC V square is equal to minus RTC by PC plus B V square, that is V square gets cancelled. So 3VC is equivalent to RTC by PC plus B. This is the first comparison. Those two values are same. And similarly, when you compare V term, then 3VC square is equal to A by PC. If you compare the constants, then VC cube is equal to AB by PC. See these three. So when you are comparing two equations, then we get this kind of relations, three different relations. Then just by dividing and solving these three equations, we end up with three different values. That is, VC is equivalent to 3B. So this is one important conclusion. VC becomes equal to 3B. Just that is how we can do this. This is division of this equation by this equation. If you divide these two, then the terminology, most of the terminology will be what cancelling, and where we get VC value in terms of B, that is 3B. And when we apply that, then we get PC, which is equal to A by 27B square. So VC in terms of AB it is 3B. VC's value is 3B, and PC's value is A by 27B square. So this is how we got PC also. Simply we can understand. Now, if you look at the TC value, then how to get the TC? See this? For that, we need to substitute VC as well as PC in particular equation. Then we get TC value as 8AB by 27RB square, or in other words 8A by 27RB. So this is TC. This is how we just derive by substituting the values in proper equation. Then we get TC value as 8A by 27 or B. So how we now concluded this is the derivation of TC, VC and PC in terms of AB. PC, VC, TC are critical constants. AB are van der Waals constant. So we are converting critical constants in terms of van der Waals constant. So in that way, we get the values to be Vc is equal to 3b, that is critical value is equal to 3 into b, and Pc value is equal to uh, a by 27b square, and finally Tc is equal to 8 a by 27 rb. So these are the three important what values. So the critical constants can be calculated using the values of van der Waals constant of a gas, and vice versa. Means you can calculate AP by using TC, VC, BC, or even you can calculate critical values by using A and B. So these are important derivations. Principle of corresponding states. Ideal gas law is independent of the molecular substance. We know that ideal gas does not depend on the what molecule it is, but real gases don't show behavior because they depend on the individual type of molecule, what type of molecule it is. So based on this, that relative state of what corresponding scales, that means what type of molecule it is. So we have derived a relative scale, so critical points is the real values, that is real pressure is equal to the pressure taken by the ideal gas by critical pressure. Similarly, real temperature is taken as the temperature for ideal by critical temperature. Similarly, real volume is taken as volume by critical value. So here the critical values we are taking on the denominator, and the ideal values we are taking on the numerator. So that ratio gives real pressure, real temperature, and real value. So real value, real pressure, real temperatures are taken into consideration here. Then van der Waals equation, if you start changing these values, if you substitute this into the van der Waals equation, then we get the equation to become like this. So this is how we get in terms of what real values PR plus 3 by V square 3t 3v square 3vr minus 1 is equal to 8tr. So this is what we are writing in terms of real values, where this dash indicates real values. The dash or R we can call it as. So this is known as reduced van der Waals equation. This particular equation is known as reduced van der Waals equation. So this is obtained based on the fact that we are considering corresponding values in terms of the ratios. Okay, this is scaled with respect to the critical values. So this is the law of corresponding states. So the equation of state is after rescaling, predicting to be the same for all the what gases or liquids. The thermodynamical properties also can be taken, can be applied universally. So this is the law of corresponding states. Now let us enter into the liquefaction of gases. So the most important part of this is liquefaction of gases. How to convert gases into liquids. This is a very important phenomenon. So Joule-Thomson effect is one important experimentally most useful at understanding. We can also do experiment even whenever we look at the what Joule-Thomson effect practically. And so when you blow air, you can feel whenever you are blowing air from your mouth. If you keep your mouth open, you find a hot air. If you close your mouth and if you blow air, it will be a cool air. So that difference in air coming out from our mouth is due to Joule-Thomson effect. What is actually happening here? It is the phenomenon of producing lowering of temperature. When a gas is made to expand adiabatically from a region of high pressure into region of low pressure. This is called Joule-Thomson effect. A gas is expanded from high pressure to low pressure. This gas is expanding, and the condition is it is adiabatic condition. That means no heat is given from outside or no heat is taken from the system. That is, heat is neither absorbed nor given out. So no heat supply. Now gas is expanding. It is expanding from high pressure to low pressure. Then what happens? When it is expanding, it needs to go away. The molecules need to go away. When in the initial stage, the molecules are very close to each other, isn't it? So in high pressure, when the molecules come very close, they have intermolecular attractive forces. So when they are released to go into low pressure, when they expand, so what they have to do? They have to break intermolecular attractions. So for breaking intermolecular attractions, they need some energy. So that energy is not supplied from outside. That's why they have to use from internal energy. So that is the reason why their internal energy decreases when gas is expanded adiabatically. When gas is expanded adiabatically, internal energy decreases. This is from first law of thermodynamics. And when internal energy decreases, the temperature decreases. So temperature falls. So this is the main idea of Joule-Thomson effect. So when a gas is allowed to escape into a region of low pressure, molecules move apart rapidly, and that is the reason why they have to break intermolecular attraction forces. So some work done by the gas. So whatever the work done by the gas is utilized from internal energy. Therefore, the temperature reduced. Or temperature comes down. So this is how Joule-Thomson effect is used in liquefaction of gases. So for that purpose, actually, what is this relation between liquefaction of gases and Joule-Thomson effect? The relation is for liquefaction of gas, we need to reduce the temperature, isn't it? We have to reduce the temperature. How to reduce the temperature? For that purpose, Joule-Thomson effect is taken. So this experiment is done. So this is how you see this high pressure. On the left side, this is high pressure, and the right side through porous plug, and right side is expansion, that is low pressure. So gas is allowed to expand from left to right. What happens in such cases? The molecules are in having internal attractions here, but when they are expanded, internal attractions are removed and they go free. So for that, they need energy, and temperature is coming down. And this is inversion temperature. The Joule-Thomson effect is obeyed by the gaseous system only when temperature is below a certain value. Whatever the discussion we are now taking, that if the gas temperature is decreasing, that is, the gas becomes cool when it is expanded adiabatically. Okay, but this is not a fact. It is purely dependent on a temperature. If you do the same experiment at higher temperatures, gas will not be cooling. Why this is? Because we need to understand that this experiment valid below a particular temperature, and that conditional temperature is called inversion temperature TI. So TI inversion temperature is nothing but the temperature below which a gas temperature is reduced when it is expanded adiabatically from high pressure to low pressure. Joule-Thomson experiment is applicable at below this temperature. And above this temperature, Joule-Thomson experiment gives no result. That means if you expand gas, temperature does not change, that does not reduce, it does not be coming down. So this is the temperature, inversion temperature. Ti is equal to 2A by RB. When in terms of van der Waals constant AB, you can call this inversion temperature value Ti is equal to 2A by RB. This is what we generally give. Um, at the inversion temperature, what happens? If you do this experiment, the inversion temperature, if below inversion temperature, yes. So three stages: below inversion temperature, at inversion temperature, above inversion temperature. So below inversion temperature, if you do this experiment, gas is expanded from high pressure to low pressure, adiabatically, then gas is cooling, that is temperature decreasing. And above critical temperature, if same experiment is done, then gas is heating, temperature is increasing. But at critical temperature, what happens if you do the same experiment? Then Joel Thomson observed that at critical temperature, if you do this experiment, there is no change in the temperature. That means neither temperature falls nor temperature rises. There is no change. But if you do the same experiment above critical temperature, temperature rises. If you do the experiment below the critical temperature or inversion temperature, sorry, then the cooling effect is observed. You look at the values of different gases. For example, hydrogen, helium. If you take hydrogen value and helium values that is inversion temperatures are minus 80 degrees centigrade for hydrogen, whereas for helium it is minus 240 degrees centigrade. So, if you do this experiment above at room temperature, then we get warming up. That is, temperature is heating. And if you want to show this, we need to go below minus 80 for hydrogen, below minus 240 for helium. So that difficult it is. So that is the reason why TI is to be taken very important condition. Now, two important methods which are using Joule-Thomson results to liquefy gases. So one important method is Linde's method. Linde's process is one process through which a gas is liquefied. How this is going on? So the point is very simple that its main principle is Joule-Thomson effect. A pure air is air or gas is first compressed. That means high pressure is maintained at 200 atmospheres. Then, after the high pressure, it is allowed to enter into a tube, as the figure it is showing. So, through it is passed through that. After that, it is expanded suddenly into a wider chamber. So when it expanded suddenly, then its temperature comes down, and the total tube and chamber is insulated in such a way that no heat is given from outside, so that the temperature falls. So high temperature 200 to 1 atmosphere. So there is a large difference in the pressure. Whatever the difference in the pressure from high pressure to low pressure, that effect will be reflected in cooling effect. So this is how the air is allowed from left side. It passes through different uh, tubes here. You see this is how it goes on. And after that, it is allowed here. After passing this, it is suddenly it expands here. So once it is expanded, then what happens? It gets liquefied and it is converted into liquid. And whatever the remaining gas, if it is present, then that gas goes like this, and it will again be compressed here at high pressure. This is high pressurizer here at this place. The pressure is increased. Then it passes through this chamber, and once it gets into this chamber, it is suddenly expanded. This is how a gas is converted into liquid in this chamber. Now another method is Claude's process. This is the Claude's process. It is also using almost same technique. In this method, the gas is compressed again to same high pressure like 200 atmosphere, and here just compression is done, but air is allowed to do mechanical work of expansion. Okay, this work is done at the expense of the kinetic energy of the gas, and hence a fall of temperature is noted here. So compressor air is doing some mechanical work in this particular case. So it is a simple difference here that instead of simple expansion, that compressed air is doing some work here, so that it's whatever the kinetic energy is given away or is lost for doing some work. So that is how the energy is reduced and temperature is coming down. So because of this, Claude's apparatus is shown on diagram. So through this air is allowed and the pressure is increased here. It is passing through this, and it will once it, yeah, you can see this. It is passed through this one, and this is two ways. Pass through this, then it is tightly packed. It will do some work here due to high pressure, and due to this mechanical work, it is allowed to come into this chamber, and here liquefaction takes place. and the remaining air is going up to get again high pressure. So this is what is Claude's process. So this we have completed the gaseous state of first year syllabus. So we have covered what is liquefaction and the liquefaction of gas based on the principle of Thomson effect and Linde's and Claude's process. And also we have discussed the relation between van der Waals constant and critical constants. That the derivation part we have discussed. Thank you very much.